I just sat down and watched the latest member of the Glitch production family, Knights of Guinevere, and to tell you that this show started with a bang is an understatement. This might be a quick video, so apologies if you wanted a longer, more detailed review on it, and I might not give the most original opinions on the show, but to be fair, if anyone actually watched the pilot for this show, they would agree with everyone else who has also watched it. The first thing I want to say is how in the heck did we get this amazing, beautifully animated show for free? Yes, this show is free on YouTube. That is insane. You don't need to pay to watch the show, so if you haven't checked this pilot out, please leave this video and check it out. It will be worth your time. And besides, this review will contain spoilers for this pilot. I will give you 5 seconds to leave. Okay, are they gone? Okay, good. Let's get to the review. Knights of Guinevere was created by the GOATs, the memes, the legends, the company that makes Disney shiver in their poor oversized yellow boots, Glitch Productions. If you've never heard of this company before, then I'm assuming this is your first time on the internet. So welcome to the internet. Here's a tip for you newcomers here. Don't scroll too far down when you look up a fictional character, especially if it's a woman. Glitch Productions is an indie animation studio that creates banger after banger from Murder Drones to Meta Rental to Digital Circus and one of the newest shows on the list, The Gaslight District. But wait, there's more! Not only did Glitch produce this show, but more familiar faces tuned in to bring the show to life. Princess of Guinevere was created and written by John Bailey Owen, Zach Marcus, and Dana Terrace. Zach Marcus helped write shows like The Owl House and The Star Wars of the Forces of Evil. Meanwhile, John Bailey Owen helped with shows like The Owl House, Future Worm, and Clarence. But the one to surprise me the most was none other than the literal creator of the Owl House series, Dana Terrace. This literally blew my mind that the creator of one of the greatest shows to ever touch Disney Channel was teaming up with one of the best indie studios ever made. To say I was hyped is far from what I was feeling. The teaser was released back in January, and when I saw this, I was stunned. A 2D animated show by Glitch? This is a new territory for them, and I couldn't wait to see how they would do it. However, it didn't actually come out till September 19th. And was it worth the wait? Wouldn't you like to know? Our story starts off in a flashback of how Park Planet was created. Park Planet being a giant theme park in the sky that is themed around this android woman named Gwen. One of the Gwens that the princess, Olivia, was tinkering with escapes by doing a leap of faith. We then meet our two main characters, Andy and Frankie, a few years later. Frankie finds the android and wants to keep it, while her boss Sparky wants to sell it for money. Meanwhile, Olivia is very old, like very old. She wants to get Gwen back as soon as possible to fix her. After fighting with Sparky, Andy and Frankie walks with him to rebuild Gwen, because it turns out that Andy got fired from her engineering job. As they are trying to reach the repair station that they need to rebuild Gwen, they get attacked by one of Olivia's massive robot bodyguards. Side note, but this thing is freaky. Like, I would be scared of this thing even if it wasn't a huge robot. Look at that face. It obviously wants to kill you. Like, this is the scariest looking thing Glitch has ever made, and that's saying something knowing that we also have Sin from Murder Drones. Anyways, after almost dying from the robot, Gwen models it in a scene that really caught me off guard when I saw it. The elevator door closes as Gwen goes out to kill the robot, and while we don't get to see it happen, we do get to see the aftermath. Glitch isn't new to the subject of violence. Again, look at Murder Drones and the Gaslight District. Those two shows show you that Glitch isn't afraid of violence, but this is new. Glitch never showed this kind of gore before. When Gwen destroys the robot, we get a glimpse of what she's done. It appears Gwen used the robot's sword against it, stabbing him and ripping his organs out, which surprised me since he is a robot and robots don't typically have organs. I mean, Gwen also have organs as shown when Olivia used her intestines as chains, but they were blue. This robot appears to have real insides like a human, which strikes me as odd, but I'm sure that's a job for people like film theory. They eventually do make it to the repair system, and they put Gwen in a sort of dream-like thing. Maybe they drugged her up, I don't know.
Don't do drugs. Stop it. Get some help.
But Gwen wakes up and sees the world as a fairy tale-like world, and she sees Andy and Frankie as children again, like she did so many years ago, and the episode ends. Now that my basic overview for the pilot is over, I think it's about time for me to talk about my thoughts on the episode. The first thing I want to say, like everyone else, is that the 2D animation struck hard. It's amazing for a first time because remember, Glitch was always known as a 3D animation company, so I bet that there was a lot of learning to do for this. The characters are really well animated with the classic choppy animation at parts. It looks like a Netflix original show, if that makes sense. Not only that, but the backgrounds are also freaking cool looking, and you can tell that Glitch put so much thought into this world. Another thing I want to touch up on is the story. While we don't know much about the lore of this show, because, you know, it's only a pilot, it's still interesting enough to keep the viewer's attention with mystery like what happened in Olivia's life, or what is the park's true purpose, because it's a Glitch show. That's gotta be at least one massive plot twist that comes out unexpectedly, and I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with the park. Why was the robot's insides real? And what is making everyone sick, including Andy? And why is those sick blood blueberry flavored? The characters themselves were remarkable, with Andy and Frankie being an awesome duo. I am a little sad we don't get to know Gwen all that often in the pilot, since it was focused on Andy and Frankie the most, so we can get to know our main duo before the show gets greenlit. But alas, we can't have everything we want, can we? Sparky is also a pretty interesting guy, being Frankie's boss and everything, but I do think that he's gonna play a bigger role as either an anti-hero or just a straight up villain in the series. Also, side note, Sparky is played by a woman named Kayla McKee. You didn't expect that, did you? My favorite thing about this pilot, though, is not the characters, not the story, but rather the jab at Disney. You can tell that Dana Terrace hated Disney's guts when she was making this show. That's pretty fair, actually. From the park itself being a Disney World clone, to Gwen actually being a Disney princess, and my favorite, Olivia's father looking like a cross between Walt Disney and the guy who owns the Honeybee Inn from Final Fantasy VII. Does anyone else see it? No? Just me? Okay then. Now for stuff I didn't like is that I wish there was a tiny bit more horror elements in it. Just a little bit more, please, and thank you. Look, that fight wasn't enough for me. I need more, okay? I'm not satisfied yet. Overall, I think Knights of Guinevere was definitely worth the wait. I was honestly pretty novice about this one since Glitch doesn't make 2D animated shows, but I had a great time with this one. It had good characters and an interesting story. Now, compared to other Glitch shows, I do think this one might be a little political later in the story with the disease that's spreading in the park in the sky, and I don't think citizens down below might like that too kindly, so there might be some political issues in it in the future. But those are my thoughts and opinions on the show. What did you guys think of it? Type in the comments if you have thoughts on this amazing new pilot, and I will talk to you guys next time in the next essay video in the next 6 months. Probably. I'm not sure.